Hello and welcome back to Vinyl Friday, where it is the holidays. This is week 3 of 4 special holiday episodes. We will be returning to our regularly scheduled programming in the new year. Speaking of the new year, at the beginning of 2024, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to do an episode in which I rank the characters from Beatles songs. And then, because I'm never satisfied with just doing things the easy way, I thought, what if I illustrate them all as well? The problem with this idea is that drawing is not one of my strengths. At the very best, on a good day, I could create a passable doodle. But hell, I thought, what's the worst that could happen? Bad drawings, right? Okay. So, I made a list of all of the Beatles songs that had a character in them, and I ranked them according to 3 metrics. 1, the creativity of the name of the character. 2, the detail and cohesion of the character's backstory. And 3, whether or not the music helps to tell the story of the character. I ranked the list in a spreadsheet, like a professional. The only problem is that I started my drawings with the number 1 ranked character, rather than starting at the end and working my way up so that my drawing, ideally, improved in proportion with the character's rankings. So as the characters got worse, my drawing got better, or vice versa, depending on how you want to look at it. So, this episode is going to be broken up into 2 parts. This week, we're going to rank the best from 10 to 1, which means that they are the weakest of the drawings, because I did, in fact, I think, humbly, improve over the course of the year. As we go from 10 to 1, the drawings will become progressively worse. So be it. Next week, we're going to be looking at the bottom 10 Beatles characters according to my definitive rankings, and the pictures will become increasingly better. I thought that was the best way to capture the best of both worlds. And also there are some ground rules that I've laid out. The first is that I had to rule out covers. The Beatles did not write those songs, they did not invent these characters, so that excludes Long Tall Sally, Mr. Moonlight, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, and Maggie May. I also had to exclude songs that were actually based on real people, because again, they were not creations of the Beatles. They were maybe interpretations, but definitely not entirely made up. So that excludes She Said, Dr. Robert, Mr. Kite, Jude of Hey Jude, Prudence of Dear Prudence, Martha of Martha My Dear, Julia, and Her Majesty, the Queen of England. The last thing I want to say is that anything that I say here is not a commentary on the quality of the song, because I think we can all agree that the quality of all of these songs is exceptional. No argument there. So this is purely about the characters. Good? Okay, let's go. At number 10, we have Mr. Billy Shears of With a Little Help from My Friends. Let's start with his name. Billy Shears is the perfect name to be called out at the top of the song. It's easy to sing, it's very resonant, it rings out beautifully. There's also a humility to this name, which is befitting a character such as Billy Shears, who isn't especially confident in himself and his abilities, especially his singing abilities. What would you think if I sang out a tune? But who recognizes just how crucial friendships are in order to function successfully as a man in society. Gonna try with a little help from my friends. So I assigned moderately decent marks for his name. Backstory. I think With a Little Help from My Friends is a very, very strong character study. It is in parts confessional, it is in parts interview. I love that his friends feature in the song. They carry him along, they ask him questions about himself. What do you see when you turn out the light? It's heartwarming, truly heartwarming. And the music, I think, very much complements Mr. Billy Shears, his story, his personality. In the verses, there's like an anxiety, an existential anxiety, I think, that you find in the lyrics, in the verses. Would you stand up and walk out on me? And the chords are minor, and there are quite a lot of them. When we move to the chorus, where he's singing about his friends, there's like a very familiar, comfortable, 3-chord, major chord pattern that is played. I think it really illustrates that coming home feeling that you get when you're around a group of really good friends. So there you have it. Number 10, Billy Shears of With a Little Help from My Friends. This is my illustration of Billy Shears. This is about the point in my drawing journey that I started to try and figure out proportion. I'm not yet comfortable drawing hands. As you can see, I've hidden one behind his back and one behind his head. But you know, his shoulders are approximately the right width, and although his head's a little on the long side, he's recognizably a person of person proportions. So, not my worst, not my best, as you'll see, but not my worst. Definitely not my worst. Number 9. I'm awarding high marks for the name. It's alliterative. It's interesting. You've got a combination of a very sort of chemical, technological descriptor, and then this very sort of middle of the road name. Polythene Pam. As for her backstory, she does drag in a polythene bag. She is edgy. Maybe she's a performance artist. I'm deducting points because it's unspecified whether she's a drag queen or a drag king. But then I don't know. I kind of like the gender obfuscation of this character as well. So maybe I'll add some points for that. Actually, it's my list. I can make things up on the spot as I wish. So I decree. I also like the detail that she is possibly the sister of Mean Mr. Mustard. And as for the song, it's angular, it's edgy, like the character. I think it's a great match. Wacky, quirky, very much fits a potential performance artist who messes with gender and has a creepy little brother. I assume she's the older sister. Will we ever know? No, we won't. Its author is dead. So it goes. I don't actually know if I'm allowed to show my illustration of Polythene Pam on the internet because, I don't know, are cartoon nips allowed? It's only a bit of nip. Only a bit. You know, because polythene bag's a little bit see-through. You're all adults here, no one's offended. This is my drawing of Polythene Pam. I guess I was sort of going for like a Jetsons look with her hair. I'm quite pleased with her muscles. You can really see that feet are a challenge. Feet straight on, feet sideways, still challenging, but way less challenging than feet forward. It looks like she is standing on her tiptoes, but I did my best. Also, those thighs, Polythene Pam has not been skipping leg day, let me tell you. Attractively built. I think that's what I was going for. Attractively built. Number 8 is Girl. Another John Lennon one. I've awarded very few marks for the name. On the one hand, she has no name. On the other hand, perhaps it is intentionally vague and abstract because it is a character that John Lennon, the songwriter, is devising, and she's a mystery. He doesn't know who she is. Maybe she's unknowable. I just think it's not as colorful as it could be. So points deducted for the name. Backstory, very colorful by contrast. The lyrics are about a girl who is very difficult to define, so they are descriptive but also cryptic.
The man must break his back to earn his day of leisure.
Quite abstract. They're also great descriptions, like in front of your friends she deliberately embarrasses you.
You feel a fool.
And when you want to leave, she turns to you and she starts to cry, and she promises the earth to you. I mean, this is somebody who sounds, at best, incredibly emotionally manipulative, which, I don't know, maybe tells us more about John Lennon than he intended. If she's being written as an object of desire, I think maybe we're getting a look into John Lennon's neuroses. And the music perfectly embodies the character in question. It's a little bit dark, a little bit mysterious. This is one I've done an episode of Vinyl Friday about, which you'll either find linked here or in the description, depending on how Editor Nancy feels on the day. This was the first drawing that I actually felt halfway decent about. This is Girl. Still don't think I've nailed the human proportions, but her head is great. Her sunglasses, pretty good. Killer cheekbones, lovely jawline. I did attempt to draw a hand. It's a very bad hand. Number 7, Sgt. Pepper. I love the name. It combines the serious and a formal military title with the mundane in a regular kitchen spice. It's humorous. I like it. Strong marks for the name. Backstory. It starts out strong, it's very promising. You're going to get a story that spans 2 decades.
It was 20 years ago today. Sergeant Pepper taught the band to play.
You settle in, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get a good story here. And then we kind of just skim over all of the details. All we end up knowing is that their popularity waxed and waned over time.
They've been going in and out of style, but they're guaranteed to raise a smile.
So, deducting points for the backstory. It's promising, but it just never pans out. A little disappointing in the execution, shall we say. The song, though, it's bombastic, it's attention-grabbing. We've got these very military-style horns in the middle of the song. Gives a great show as promised. High marks. This is Sergeant Pepper. I wanted to give him a very brightly colored outfit, so we went with sort of like a almost pink. Perhaps clashes horribly with the red hair I also gave him, but I wanted to include some ginger representation, so there we have it. Also, his torso is huge, and his legs are teensy-weensy. Once again, I tried to do a shoe from the front. As you can see, once again, it looks like he's standing on his little tippy toes. But I'm gonna give myself some points for detail. So he's got his little military badges and detail on his hat and everything. Number 6 is Taxman. The name, not very many points there. It's nondescript. We don't know anything about the individual. He's sort of like a proxy for the entire tax department, but it's fine. We'll work with it. His backstory is not so much a narrative as a character portrait, and I think it is a very strong one because we really understand the nature of his character. He is a greedy man.
There's one for you, 19 for me.
He wants to take you for everything you've got. We understand his motivation. Greed. And he's aggressively unscrupulous. And the music, I think, is an excellent illustration of this. It is aggressive, it's dirty, it's snarling. But at the same time, it's a really tidy performance. The band is really tight, the rhythm is clipped, it's clinical. It's almost bureaucratic in its administration. See what I'm doing here? Taxman. This is where I start to try and understand the shape of the human face. His head is too small for his body, but I particularly liked his bag. Again, shoes are not a point of strength for me. I've gotten 4 and 5 back to front, so this is the real number 5. And the next one is the real number 4. Number 5 is Rocky Raccoon. The name's great. It would seem that I enjoy an alliteration. It's like something from a children's book or a Saturday morning cartoon. Rocky Raccoon. I think maybe I like it because it reminds me of Rocko's Modern Life, which is a very unusual cartoon from the 1990s, featuring a kangaroo named Rocco.
Goodness, man.
Backstory for the song is full, but it's sort of inconsistent and disjointed. It's not as good as Bungalow Bill, where there's a clear beginning, middle, and end. It's just the details don't all make sense in Rocky Raccoon. But the music makes up for it. You've got your little sort of meandering cowboy song, and then that bridge in the middle section with the little barrel house piano solo. Excellent. A little bit of period piece there from old Paul, our friend Paul. Rocky Raccoon. Again, kind of cartoonish. I was trying to go for like the raccoon look with his eyes. He's also got a coonskin hat, bullets. Yeah, he's got a bullet belt. And you'll notice he's been shot and is bleeding. This is before I even tried to do a shoe front on. He's just standing in a, what's that called? First position? It's a ballet move. That's what he's doing. Number 5 is Bungalow Bill. Another alliteration from John that wins my heart. He gets some points for that. Bungalow and Bill are sort of boring pedestrian concepts, names, etc. But they're quite funny in juxtaposition. I'm not sure why that is, but it's a real winner for me. The backstory is the song's strong suit. This is a complete narrative. We've got multiple characters. We understand their personalities. We get why they're doing the things that they're doing, and we understand their attitudes towards everything. Character study of the
All-American bullet-headed Saxon mother's son.
And his mother.
He always took his mom.
And the story is fun. High marks. Now, I will say, I'm potentially breaking my rule a little bit here because it is kind of based on a real person, but I think John Lennon has embellished it sufficiently so that it's his own creation. In which case, maybe I should have included Mr. Kite. Who's running the show around here? As for the song, the verses accurately capture the tense unfolding of the story. My only complaint is the choruses. I think the choruses don't do that. And also I have some qualms about Yoko singing the chorus. Not for the usual reasons, just that she plays the mother in this narrative. Why is she singing in the chorus? Hey, Bungalow Bill. It makes no sense. Oddly enough, I quite like this Bungalow Bill sketch. I think because it's more of a cartoon than a serious drawing, but Bungalow Bill. His feet are tiny, and I know nothing about guns, so I don't know how accurate or not his gun is. But his hat is right, and that jawline is exactly what I was going for. Top 3. Number 3 is Desmond and Molly Jones from Obla-Di Obla-Da. Their names are quaint and deliberately old-fashioned, I would say. That's exactly what they need to be for this song, because this song is a story of a couple falling in love, growing old together, starting a family. They have jobs. We know what their jobs are. It's domestic bliss with a gender swap plot twist at the end. What more can you ask for? It's interesting to me that Paul wrote this song. It's a happy, unassuming domesticity that he seemed to crave and ultimately managed to acquire for himself in the early 70s with his life on the farm with Linda. So there you go. The song is also a prophecy. We'll give it some bonus points for that. Unfortunately, I think that my Desmond and Molly Jones illustration is the worst of the lot. Desmond and Molly Jones. Desmond's head is enormous. Molly's face is ridiculous. Her legs, what's going on with her legs? Her feet are pointing one direction, her face is pointing in another. I did try and draw a cheese cutter, but I couldn't. I also couldn't draw a face at sort of like a three-quarter angle, so he's sitting like this. To be fair, I still can't really do a three-quarter. I will say though, I nailed the leeks. The leeks look fantastic. Number 2 is Mean Mr. Mustard, the partner song to Polythene Pam. This one's a 3-word alliteration. The name covers his title, his disposition, and a condiment. And I feel like a condiment is a step up from the kitchen spice that we covered in Sgt. Pepper. A condiment. You know, it really gives a sense of the color of his personality, and also it's just a color of the song. It's like a sort of dirty yellow. If you're into synesthesia, perfection. The story is delightfully detailed and notably nonsensical. See, John Lennon's not the only one who can use an alliteration around here. Like, he keeps a 10-bob note up his nose. What? He sleeps in a hole in the road. What? But the thing is, the name is nonsensical, and the lyrics are, again, befitting a character who is nonsensical. And the song has this great sort of womp energy when we get to the end of the verse/chorus, oddly structured song, but it's sort of like major while we're describing what he's like, where he sleeps. We know about his family. We've got his place of residence. Sleeps in a hole in the road. But when we get to the quality of his character, which admittedly is not great, it changes feel and it gets a little bit darker. He's a mean old man, he's a dirty old man. Mean old man. So Mean Mr. Mustard is my number 2, and this is my drawing. I was trying to get the mean old man feeling and the dirty old man feeling. See, he's wearing a big coat like he's about to flash someone, which you should never do. I gave him some little curly chest hairs. I like that detail. He's got a 10-bob note up his nose. I don't know if that came across well. His eyes are supposed to look really mean. His hair's supposed to look like it's a bit of a mess because he's been sleeping in the park. And then yeah, I wanted the little mustard accents in his clothes. His feet are too small, but I like the cross-hatching of the pants. So, you know, for my second drawing, this one's not terrible. It's certainly a damn sight better than poor old Desmond and Molly Jones. I really did them dirty. I didn't mean to. Right, we're at number 1. This is my number 1 Beatles character, definitively and scientifically ranked using a spreadsheet. My number 1 character is Eleanor Rigby. The name is kind of sad and boring, which is perfect for the character, but also there's the interesting detail that Paul may have accidentally stolen it from a real person whose gravestone reads Eleanor Rigby. And that graveyard is behind, I think, the chapel where he met John Lennon for the first time. There's sort of a magical serendipity about this name. Maybe he saw it and it stuck in his memory, but even that's really impressive. So I'm awarding some bonus points for the name because it's got this mysterious lore about it. The story, it's poignant, it's beautifully laid out. It's got parallel narratives that are brought together at the end. It's like a Beatles Love Actually, except in this version, Alan Rickman doesn't cheat on anyone. And the song, full marks. I think that this song is the best example of a Beatles song in which the lyrics and the music are a match. The deep, soulful melancholy of the music, of the string section, the arrangement, perfect match to the plight of these poor, hapless characters in their sad, meaningless lives. A+ to Paul McCartney for this one. A+. Oh, I've also done an episode on this one, so you can find that, again, either here or in the description. Oh, also Taxman. I've also done an episode on Taxman. You'll find that in the description too. Oh, the picture. I almost forgot the picture. This is my Eleanor Rigby. I was trying to capture someone who is lonely, who's living her life on the periphery of others. She's waiting at the window.
Wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door.
Her flowers are dying. I'm especially pleased with the wallpaper. Took a long time to do that, but I think it was worth it. She's got a sad little grandma cardigan, a sad little grandma bun. Again, for my first drawing, this was not terrible. I don't know where I went wrong with Desmond and Molly Jones. It really went downhill and it took a while to recover after that. Anyway, those are my top 10 Beatles characters. Oh, and this is a quick message from Editor Nancy.
Hello Vinyl Friday fam, this is Editor Nancy coming to you live from outside. At the beginning of the year, my dad made a prediction that I would hit 8,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And as at the time of this recording, I am at 7,143 subscribers.
Hello everyone, this is Editor Nancy coming to you live from the future. To update you, that number is now 7,339. Yay! This is a future Editor Nancy with a fresh new haircut. That number is now 7,617. So we are nearly there, folks. Goes to future fathom here. It is now 7,876. Woo! So I'm not going to tell you to like and subscribe because I'm sure you know how to do that from all of the other YouTube videos that you watch, YouTube connoisseur that you are. But if you had forgotten or were putting it off, or whatever valid reason you might have to not subscribe, but you decided that you wanted to do so now, my father would get a huge kick out of it. So I'll just leave that with you. Do as you please. I respect your decision either way. That's it from me. If you enjoyed this episode or you would like to support any of the weird things I do, I will leave a link in the description to my Buy Me a Coffee, where you are most welcome to make a donation, but no pressure, friends. If you're interested in hearing what any of my original music sounds like, I will leave a link in the description to that as well. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you here next week. Have a great weekend! How are all these mosquitoes in the house? She's so good looking, but she looks like a man. Village Fate. More mosquitoes. Puts you down when friends... When you're... Mosquito. Oh, God. I just got a vaccination yesterday. Oh. That was the dumbest thing I've done today. Well, on the bright side, I did get the mosquito. I think I need to go and buy some shoes. Let's get some shoes. Oh my God, shoes.